The film begins in the evening, with three children playing carefree, lost in their own world. As the sound of the prayer call echoes through the air, one of the girls suddenly remembers a warning from their teacher. She tells them they should either go home or head to the mosque during this time, because evil spirits are believed to roam the streets at dusk, searching for children to harm. But the others ignore her, too absorbed in their game to take her seriously. As they continue playing, their stick accidentally falls into the nearby forest. Karta volunteers to retrieve it and walks into the dark woods. He soon finds the stick lying inside a pit. As he reaches down to grab it, something from within suddenly grabs his hand. Terrified, he screams for help, struggling to pull away, but the grip is too strong. At the same time, the girl who had warned them begins walking home alone. Suddenly, she hears a strange voice calling out to her. Fear takes over, and she quickens her pace, refusing to look back. But without warning, something attacks her from below, knocking her down and dragging her into the forest. Nearby, their third friend hears the horrifying screams and rushes to find them. Back at the pit, Karta continues fighting to free himself. With great effort, he finally pulls his hand out, but lets out a scream of pure agony. Half of his finger has been bitten off, leaving him in shock, pain, and terror. The story then jumps forward to the present, 30 years later. Karta is now a broken man, living a life consumed by madness. Early one morning, he crosses paths with two children named Adi and Saman. From their fearful reactions, it becomes clear that everyone in the village, both children and adults, is terrified of Karta. Adi and Saman arrive late to school that day and are punished by their teacher for their carelessness. During this moment, we are introduced to Ayu, a kind and gentle girl from their class. She is the daughter of Mr. Marto, a poor shopkeeper who struggles to make ends meet, earning only when he can afford to cook and sell food. After school, Saman goes to Marto's shop but is scolded harshly for being late in delivering honey. Marto warns him that if he repeats this mistake, he will complain to his elder brother. Around the same time, Ayu arrives at the shop to take her bicycle, as she has to deliver food to her uncle. That uncle turns out to be none other than Karta. Ever since his childhood incident, he has lived alone in a broken, abandoned house deep inside the forest. Despite his condition, Ayu cares deeply for him and brings him food every day. But today, Ayu is late. Karta becomes extremely anxious and refuses to accept the food. Instead, he urgently tells her to go back home, warning her that it is evening and something dangerous could happen. Confused and upset, Ayu leaves, unable to understand his fear. We are then taken to the mosque, where almost all the children of the town have gathered, except for Saman. Their teacher once again warns them not to stay outside during evening prayers and to immediately return home or go to the mosque, as evil forces become active during that time. Meanwhile, Saman is at home, taking care of his grandmother. As he feeds her, he suddenly hears footsteps approaching. He assumes it is his brother, and moments later, his brother does arrive and begins beating him for failing to deliver the honey. After threatening him with a final warning, his brother leaves for work. But something is not right. Behind Saman, a dark shadow with long hair quietly appears. The earlier sound he heard was not his brother at all, but something else. For a brief moment, fear grips him, but he quickly convinces himself that it was just his imagination. The next morning, Saman resumes his routine, carrying honey bottles and heading to school. He makes his deliveries along the way, but once again, he and Adi arrive late and are punished by their teacher. After their punishment, the two boys decide to skip their worries and plan a trip to the city to watch a movie. They hitch a ride on a passing van, laughing and talking along the way. At the same time, deep in the forest, Karta senses something unusual. A strange wind begins to blow, and he immediately drops everything and rushes toward the hills. Looking at the sky, he notices an unnatural red glow spreading across it. The sight fills him with terror, reminding him of the same evening from 30 years ago, the moment that changed his life forever. Back in the van, Saman vents his frustration about their strict teacher and angrily says he wishes she were dead. Hearing this, the driver suddenly becomes furious and scolds him, warning him never to speak such words again. The scene then shifts to the teacher's house, where something unnatural has begun to unfold. The door keeps opening on its own, again and again, while the lights flicker violently. No matter how many times she shuts it, the door refuses to stay closed. Frustrated and uneasy, she locks it tightly, believing it will finally stop. But suddenly, the back door creaks open. From the darkness, a terrifying entity reveals itself. Before she can react, it drags her out, overpowers her, and possesses her completely. Within moments, the entity strangles her, ending her life in a horrifying manner. Her sudden death spreads panic across the entire village. Chaos erupts everywhere, and even the van driver, sensing something is wrong, turns his vehicle back toward the village. When they arrive, everyone learns about the teacher's death. As they reach her house, Saman is shaken to his core after seeing her lifeless body. Guilt consumes him as he believes his earlier words somehow caused this tragedy. Adi, instead of comforting him, adds to his guilt, and the tension between them explodes into a fight. Overwhelmed, Saman runs away, unable to face anyone. The next day, a new teacher arrives to replace the deceased one. But wherever Saman goes, he begins to feel as if the spirit of the dead teacher is following him, haunting him at every step. Terrified, he rushes back home and washes his face, trying to calm himself. But as the water settles, something horrifying emerges from it. A dark presence rises and takes control of him. The entity possesses Saman completely, changing him from within. The next day, several important villagers, along with a police officer, gather to welcome the new teacher. The officer questions her delay, asking why she arrived so late when she was expected in the morning. She replies strangely, saying she must have lost her way and wandered into another village. From a distance, hidden behind a tree, Cardo watches her closely. There is something unsettling in his gaze, as if he senses something others cannot. At school, Adi arrives alone, once again late. This time, however, the new teacher, Ningsi, does not punish him. Her calm and gentle behavior earns Adi's trust almost instantly. Meanwhile, Saman is nowhere to be seen. At the same time, Saman's brother returns from the city and goes to collect money for the honey deliveries. When Ayu's father informs him that Saman has not delivered honey for several days, anger takes over him. He storms back home and begins beating Saman mercilessly. But something is different now. Saman is no longer weak. Under the influence of the evil jinn possessing him, he now holds unnatural power. In a horrifying moment, he commands the entity within him to end his brother. The jinn briefly leaves his body, terrifying his brother, and then re-enters Saman, forcing him to carry out the act. Saman repeatedly stabs his own brother, ending his life. Blinded by rage and revenge, Saman then goes to Ayu's house. He kills all their chickens, collects their blood, and fills honey bottles with it. He hands these bottles to Ayu's father. When they realize it is blood, both Ayu and her father are horrified. The bottles slip from their hands as fear takes over them. Despite the terror, Ayu continues her routine and goes to school. But something strange begins to happen to her. The spirit of her former teacher starts haunting her, whispering Saman's name repeatedly. Terrified, she somehow manages to endure the day. When she returns home in the evening, she discovers the horrifying truth that all their chickens have been killed. Soon, they learn that Saman is responsible. Along with a police officer, they rush to Saman's house, only to find his brother's dead body lying there. Adi, knowing his friend well, searches for him in familiar places. Eventually, he finds Saman standing silently in the river. Alarmed, he calls others for help, and together they capture Saman and bring him back home. By now, everyone realizes that he is possessed, as he no longer speaks normally and only mutters strange, incomprehensible words. When the new teacher hears about this, she goes to meet Saman, hoping to reach him. But he shows no response to anything she says, leaving her disturbed and confused. From afar, Carta watches all of this unfold, growing increasingly terrified. Inside, near Saman, two spirits appear. One is his brother, and the other is the teacher he cursed. Both of them torment him, urging him toward death. Unable to resist, Saman ultimately loses his life under their influence. Adi is shattered by the loss of his friend. Though his teacher tries to comfort him, he withdraws from everything, losing all interest in life. He spends his time alone at school, even staying there until evening. As he leaves, he suddenly sees Saman again, quietly cleaning the school. But this is no longer his friend. It is Saman's ghost. The spirit approaches him and takes control. Possessed and unstable, Adi begins violently hitting the walls, losing control of himself. At the same time, Karta sees Adi and immediately understands the truth. Another child has fallen under the same dark influence. Realizing the danger, he rushes to Adi's house and hangs a protective amulet, hoping to stop the evil before it spreads any further. However, Adi's father witnesses Karta hanging the amulet and becomes furious, misinterpreting his actions. The next morning, life at school appears normal again, with all the students back in class. But during the lesson, Ayu once again feels the presence of her former teacher's spirit. This time, the whisper is different. Instead of Saman's name, the spirit softly whispers Adi's name into her ear. Ayu is instantly terrified. She realizes the pattern, understanding that just like Saman, Adi is now in danger. Determined to save him, she rushes out to find him, but he is nowhere to be seen in class. Desperate, she searches everywhere, her home, their favorite places, and even the forest, but Adi has vanished. Meanwhile, deep inside the forest, Adi is shown in a disturbing state. Moving like someone under control, he calls out to another child in a strange, unnatural voice. The child, as if possessed, follows him without resistance. Soon, news of their disappearance spreads across the village, creating panic. Despite everyone's efforts, neither Adi nor the missing child can be found. The village is now gripped by fear. Saman's death and the disappearance of 2 more children have shaken everyone. The teacher gathers all the students and warns them strictly not to stay outside in the evenings. She decides to end school early, urging everyone to return home together and pray for the missing children and for Saman's soul to find peace. After class, Ayu approaches the teacher and gives her the amulet that Karta had given her. But the moment the teacher touches it, she reacts violently, as if shocked by electricity, and throws it away immediately. Confused, she asks Ayu what it is. Ayu explains that it is meant to protect people from negative energy. The teacher regains her composure and calmly dismisses it, telling Ayu not to believe in such things. The search for Adi continues. The officers comb through the forest and eventually find the body of the child Adi had taken, hidden inside a tunnel. But Adi himself is still missing. At the same time, Ayu's father returns home and finds a lifeless body placed on a bench outside his house. When he turns it over, he is horrified to realize it is his own son. Meanwhile, Ayu continues searching in the forest and suddenly spots Adi standing in the middle of the road. In a chilling sight, he has just killed a dog with a knife. The moment he sees Ayu, he begins chasing her. Terrified, she abandons her bicycle and runs as fast as she can, eventually locking herself inside a nearby house. Adi relentlessly bangs on the door, trying to get in. The noise continues for a long time, until suddenly it stops. Ayu thinks he has left, but instead, he has moved to another entrance. As he enters the house and prepares to attack her, someone strikes him from behind and knocks him unconscious. It turns out to be a village security guard who had noticed the situation. The guard takes Adi to the mosque, where it becomes clear that he is possessed by a powerful evil force. The villagers gather and begin performing an exorcism. They give him something to counter the possession, causing him to vomit violently. For a brief moment, it seems like he might recover, but he soon falls unconscious again. Outside, the villagers discuss everything they have seen. Some mention that Adi was heading toward the graveyard, leading them to suspect that he may have disturbed Saman's body. No one understands why he would do such a thing. At that moment, Adi's father speaks up, revealing that he had seen Karta near his house recently, placing an amulet outside. He accuses Karta of practicing black magic and being responsible for everything that has happened. Enraged by this, The villagers rush to Karta's hut in the forest and brutally attack him, nearly beating him to death. Just then, a police officer arrives and stops them. He insists that Karta should not be killed and instead takes responsibility for keeping him under watch and investigating him properly. Reluctantly, the villagers agree, and Karta is spared. The story then shifts back to Ayu, who is deeply traumatized after everything that has happened. She is weak, shaken, and struggling to process it all. She tells her father that Karta is innocent and that he is actually trying to protect the village. But before her father can fully understand her words, someone knocks on the door. When the door opens, it is the new teacher. The moment Ayu sees her, fear takes over her face. Something feels terribly wrong. And then comes the shocking revelation. The teacher, whom everyone trusted, is actually the evil jinn behind everything. To explain how this truth came to light, the story flashes back to an earlier moment. It shows Karta sensing something unusual in the evening. Deeply disturbed, he begins observing the entire village, trying to uncover what exactly is happening and where this evil is coming from. That very day, the new teacher arrived. Karta realized something was terribly wrong. He understood that she was not human at all, but an ancient entity known as the Black Mother, a being that takes human form and feeds on the fear of children. Once she grows tired of tormenting them, she ends their lives without mercy. To confirm his suspicion, Karta crafted a special amulet and gave it to Ayu, explaining everything in detail. He told her that if the teacher accepted the amulet normally, she was human. But if she reacted strangely, dropped it, felt a shock, or became angry, then it would prove she was the Black Mother. And when Ayu gave her the amulet, the truth was revealed instantly. The teacher recoiled in fear and threw it away, confirming Karta's worst fears. At that moment, the Black Mother also realized that Ayu had discovered her secret. That is why she used Adi to scare her and keep her silent. Sitting close to Ayu, she gently touched her face and warned her not to reveal the truth to anyone, threatening that if she did, she would destroy both her and the entire village. Then, in a chilling confession, she revealed everything. She admitted that she had killed the previous teacher, possessed and destroyed Saman, controlled Adi, killed the child through him, and even ended Saman's brother. She then revealed another horrifying truth. The one everyone thought was mad, Karta, had actually been broken by her. She was the one who had terrified him 30 years ago and drove him into madness. At that moment, everything became clear to Ayu. The spirit of the former teacher that had been haunting her was not trying to harm her, but to help her. Each time she whispered the names of Saman and Adi, she was trying to warn Ayu to save them. But Ayu had been unable to save either of them. Desperate, Ayu throws the amulet at the Black Mother. But now, after feeding on so much fear and ending so many lives, the entity has grown far too powerful. The amulet has no effect on her. She simply holds it like a meaningless object, proving how strong she has become. After this, the Black Mother leaves, and Ayu immediately runs to Karta. At first, Karta is terrified, thinking she has come under the same evil influence. But Ayu assures him that she trusts him completely and tells him everything she has learned. She reveals that the Black Mother is planning to end Adi next, and they must act quickly. Karta agrees and forms a plan. He decides to confront the entity at the teacher's house, while Ayu sets out to find and protect Adi. They separate, each heading toward their dangerous mission. When Karta reaches the house, he finally sees the Black Mother in her true form, a horrifying old figure. Without even turning around, she senses his presence and tries to break him by taking the form of someone he once knew. This triggers painful memories within him. The story flashes back to the day of his childhood trauma. After his finger was bitten, the entity had first enjoyed the fear of his friends and then killed them right before his eyes. The villagers, unable to understand the truth, blamed Karta and abandoned him, leaving him alone with his trauma and madness. Back in the present, these memories shake him deeply, but this time, he refuses to give in to fear. He realizes that if he wants to stop this evil and save Adi, he must overcome what once broke him. Gathering his courage, he returns to the very place where the entity first attacked him and sets it on fire, determined to destroy its source. Even when the spirits of his dead friends appear to frighten him, he does not stop. He stands firm and continues his mission. At the same time, Ayu finally finds Adi. She tries to stop him, but he walks forward in a trance, completely under the control of the Black Mother. She has lured him to the river, preparing to end him by feeding on his fear. Just as everything seems lost, the sound of the azan echoes through the air. The sacred call to prayer weakens the Black Mother instantly. It is now morning, the time when her powers are at their lowest. As her strength fades, her hold over Adi breaks, and he slowly regains control of himself. Ayu rescues him, and they escape together. At the same time, Karta succeeds in driving the Black Mother away, finally confronting the evil that haunted him for decades. But the story does not truly end there. In the final moments, we see the Black Mother once again, lurking in the shadows, ready to prey on another child on another road, proving that her terror is far from over.